Welcome back to ChatGPT, Dad and Me. My name is Yoni.
And I'm Dad.
And on today's episode, we are going to be talking about ROI.
Return on investment. The story to me is super fascinating, Yon, because it was about 5 years ago, left the corporate world, went out on my own, started my own businesses. And one thing you learn very quickly when you're out on your own is you better know how to market and sell. The first thing I had to do was take marketing and sales training, which I did. And then after that, it was time to get digital marketing help. The problem was that in order for us to pump out content, there was this cycle where I would have to sort of ideate, and then I'd have to put something together, and then I would have to send it to them, and they would have to review it. It was this whole do loop, and it was slow.
What's a do loop?
A do loop?
Yeah.
You don't know what
like
a do loop is?
meaning like something they have to do that's on a loop?
Yeah, meaning I just had to go through the process over and over and over.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, engineer speak. Yeah, so it was this big do loop, and it would take all this time, and there really wasn't any creative flow, number one. And number two, the problem was fitting in the time to do it. Here's what happened. This started about a couple months ago. I realized that it was much easier for me to take an idea to ChatGPT and then take that idea and turn it into something, right? There were various some things that I was doing. Sometimes it was reports, sometimes it was kind of analysis. But what I ended up figuring out was, oh my goodness, ChatGPT can help me write.
So in what way was it helping you write the content? Was it writing it for you? Was it assisting?
Okay. And it's a great question, Young, because the problem is, and you see it, there's so much junk out there that's generated right from ChatGPT, right? Like you don't want to read that garbage. You don't, you see it and you're like, ugh. But what I found out though was it was able to take everything that I was saying and actually over time it learned how I phrase things, and it would give me a really good rough draft of what I wanted to say.
Okay, but what was your process? Meaning you didn't just say you didn't just give it a topic and said write.
No, sometimes I would. Remember the last episode we talked about giving ChatGPT context?
Yeah.
So I'd have an idea and I would just throw a bunch of stuff in there. It might be documents, it might be pictures. I might put in an audio file. I type in some things. And then it would, because it knows me and it knows what I do for a living, it say, oh, this is what you want to write about? And I said, yeah, that's what I want to write about. And then we would start to iterate.
The first draft that it gave you though was like, what percentage of the way did it get to you?
It depended. It could be as low as say like 65%, but it could be as high as 80%.
But you say like as low as 65. That's pretty amazing already. Like
100%.
That's
what I'm saying. So it would save me hours and hours of time. It used to take me several hours to write, like say a post for LinkedIn, and it would never quite capture what I really wanted to say. And it sounds funny, but I actually write better now. My ideas are better captured and better articulated because I'm using AI.
Right. But it's still your voice.
Oh, 100%. And I just had this experience and it's so much fun. So sometimes ChatGPT will go back to itself, right? It's, we're putting together a post or a response or something, and it'll start using ChatGPT voice. Yeah. And I'll say, I literally tell it, I say, channel Steve. That's what I say.
No way.
Channel Steve. We talked last time about context, providing context. You want to provide after context too. What I'll do is after I post it, I will make a copy of it and go back into ChatGPT and say, just so you know, this was the final product. Comments come in, hopefully, and you want to respond to them intelligently. You want to use the same process, right? You want to get your answers 65, 75% of the way there, and then do the hard editing work at the end so that it's your voice.
You're putting it into the same chat?
Yes, exactly. So it's the same chat on ChatGPT. I actually open up a project. It's a specific project, and then I'm working within that project.
So if I'm not mistaken, there's two things that you're gaining from that. The first thing is that now it knows your actual voice, like what you actually prefer to say even after all its iterations.
Yep.
And then the second thing is now when you get comments, it knows what the final draft was, so it knows what people are commenting to, and you say, okay, this is,
Exactly.
And do you ask it, how do I respond? Or you say, I'm thinking of responding like this.
I tell it, I generally tend to tell it up front, here's how I want to react to this comment. Occasionally,
like you'll even word it, you'll even spell it out. You'll write the sentence or whatever.
Yeah. So what I say is, here's the comment and here's the angle that I want to take it in. Sometimes I don't do more than that. Like I don't try to overly script it. I just say, here's how I want to respond to it. And what's cool about it is that is, in a way, it's a very truthful exercise for me because I can say clearly, this is how I want to respond to what's being said, but then I don't have to worry about that process of getting 70, 75% of the way there.
Right. It's interesting, like, again, is AI going to make us dumb? What it does is it says, if you don't have a skill of copyright, which is what a lot of it is, 100%. It's just like syntax. If that's not your skill, and it might be something you always struggle with, so it can take care of that for you. But where it's not making you dumb is that you have to be very clear. This is what I want to respond. This is the tone I want to have. I'm just not the best at writing it, so you can help me write it.
100%. And in the old days, 5 years ago, I would go to a copywriter sometimes. But
not for a comment on LinkedIn.
No,
but
not
for a longer.
Yeah. And Yoni's bringing up something that's really important. So if you know me, you would be surprised that I will tend to refine something many times. If you were trying to do that with a copywriter, each post would cost you $10,000. Like you'd be there forever, right? Hey, here's another.
Well,
check,
they
right?
like charge by hour or something?
Yeah, you get a certain right. Okay, or they'll never work with you again, right? Like
right.
One post, then like done. We're not doing this again.
Yeah.
Now what happens is I could just iterate forever if I want to. Now I'm not saying two contradictory things. I've gotten a lot faster. At the same time, though, I can iterate more within that period of time. It's really interesting how it works.
Yeah, right. And ChatGPT is not gonna. I want to show that clip. I'm going to show that clip. ChatGPT bot taking a mental health walk after I trauma dumped on it all day. Brainstormed 12 new business ideas and asked it if it liked me. Goodness.
Yeah, but this is the point, actually, is that for the first time in my life, I can just be myself because I want to go over something many times from many different angles until, I'm confident that I'm saying what I want to say. I never was able to do that before.
Right.
Because if I did it with myself, I'd run out of time and I'd have that sort of mono view that was only me.
Right.
But now I have ChatGPT to, help in the process. Yeah. All right. Now the other thing, and this is great, you get to geek out as an engineer. So there's different ways of calculating return on investment, but very practically from a marketing perspective or a sales perspective, what you want to see is the content I'm putting out there resulting in things that matter. So from a business perspective, yeah, like impressions are nice or whatever. If people are commenting on your stuff, that's one level. But the best thing would be people direct messaging you saying, I'm interested in some way.
Yeah.
And having those conversations. I had ChatGPT do this analysis. I do this kind of analysis myself all the time, right? So to me, it's not a big deal that, that ChatGPT can do this technically. That's not what's so impressive. What's fun though is when I just want some metrics on how things are going, I just take a bunch of screenshots from LinkedIn and I give it a little bit of prep. Here's what happened in the past couple of days. Let's talk through this. So what I really wanted to see was I'm posting, and you can see over there on the left y-axis, the number of posts. As I started to post, that's on the left y-axis. I started to have more expert conversations on the y.
Conversation means?
Well, okay. So I talked to ChatGPT about this. I said, let's come up with a system for bucketing conversations in terms of their importance to the business. So if someone contacts me and says, I want to run a clinical trial and I love what you're doing and let's talk, I own a biotech and I have $30 million, right? So that's like super high value. Someone who just contacts me because they like what I'm doing. It's someone who is known to be someone of importance in the field. If they contact you, right, that's a different kind of expert conversation. I have my own system for saying what's important, basically. And ChatGPT said, great, we'll use that. And so I cataloged for it. I said, okay, here's all I had to do the mining. I had to do the data mining. I went to LinkedIn and I said, here's all the conversations that I've had. And then here's the type of conversation it was. And then it did this work. It graphed it. Now, what's cool is talk about return on investment. And it's only gotten better, by the way. It's gotten significantly better than...
You're saying it from past experience.
No. Oh, it blows away what I did before. There's no comparison.
Oh, wow.
Right. Actually, the money that I spent before never resulted in anything. Like zip, zero.
The money that you paid people, human beings.
Nothing. And I'm not really blaming the digital marketing agency. Actually, they were super good. It's just, again, I'm an expert. I have to churn out expert content.
So let me get this straight. You're now spending less time writing your posts. You're posting much more often, way better, and you're getting actual conversations with people that are positively affecting your business.
100%. And that's return on investment, right? And so what else are you going to say? This is a very worthwhile pursuit.
Yeah.
And super importantly, I just want to make this clear. Like, what does this cost me? It's $20 a month. And it's a business expense.
So that's it for this week's episode of ChatGPT. Dan and me, see you in the next one.
See ya.